Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Nia Desnia show. If this is your first time of joining me, come to the show. If you've been here and watched me before, thank you for coming back. This is a platform where I share resources, information, and of course, there are these resources and information are just for educative resources only. They are just educative, informative. They are not. That you have to actually seek the help of a professional. And of course, if you do not have a CPA working with you, please, feel free to contact my practice through, the website, um, drniadesnia.com. And then, of course, link onto my CPA website where you can actually um, um, book an appointment. All right. I know we're already in the holiday season. I know, here is almost Thanksgiving and, very, very, we're thankful for all of you watching. So very many things to be thankful for. All right. So let's just get right into it. Another interesting topic. And the topic is estate planning for SMEs. Now, estate planning is actually a very broad and complex area, but I just wanted to just highlight a couple of things for SMEs, small and medium-sized small and medium-sized businesses or enterprises that the owners, right? What do you think when you're thinking of estate planning? What do you really think of, right? How do you plan for the future? What are you looking at? Are you planning to pass it to your kids? What are you really looking at? So I'm going to highlight a couple of points for you to really take note of and expand on it. Talk to your CPA, and if you have any questions and you don't have a CPA, yours truly, I'm always here to help. Of course, reach out as I said. Now, points I want to highlight, right? Before you think of moving or what your future is when the future of your business is, right? You want to pass it to your kids. The first thing you have to think about, what is your business structure? What kind of structure is your business? Now, I'm not going to go into business structures here because it's very, we can't do it in a few minutes. We have broad, I have to explain it. And of course, it's very broad. So there's no time, but I'm just going to highlight one or two things. If you're a sole proprietorship, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to pass your business to to your um your kids because of the structure of the business. Usually with a sole proprietorship, what happens is that when something happens to the owner of the business, the business is gone. So the very first thing you need to do is ask, or if you are a sole proprietorship, talk to a professional and say, okay, what is it that I need to do to actually to change things around? What do I need to do to make sure that as a sole proprietorship, you know that you cannot effectively um, change your business or sell your business to or move your business to your kids. So what do you need to do? You need to change your business structure. All right, change your business structure, and there are many out there, and many structures out there, and you have to look at what works for you. A sole proprietorship there's no estate plan. You can't move it to your family, right? So that's the very first step. Very first thing you should consider is the business structure. When you're thinking of moving, to estate planning. Estate planning means that, okay, if something happens to me, go away today, what happens to my business? So that's the very first step, business structure. If you cross that bridge and so, yeah, I have a fantastic business structure, the next thing you should think of is expertise. What is it that, are you doing something that the person you're going to pass it to, maybe, is it a family business? Is it something that you are able to pass your expertise to your kids know what you're doing? Is this something that they know and they're interested in doing? I've seen so many cases that um the parents build this business and the kids are just not interested, right? But yes, let's say they are interested. How much skill have you actually been able to train them well enough to know what you're doing, right? Is there any processes in place, or are your kids involved in the business, right? If your kids are involved in the business, that's great, right? They know what's happening, they know what the goals are. Usually I tell people is get your kids involved in the business early on, right? Don't wait for it to be, oh yeah, you're sick or something like that, right? there's this, so many scenarios, something can happen, but it's so wonderful if your kids are already in the business. So that's a very great point, right? Remember, we're talking about, business continuation, which is like I'm looking at estate planning, because business continuation when you're not there is actually part of estate planning, right? Of course, I would say as much as possible, put things in order when it comes to which child is handling the business, because a lot of times you have kids that somebody has more than one child, maybe two, three, four. Who is going to be in charge of this business? Who's going to take over? Who's going to be the person that you trust, that will make a decision and everybody will follow? Now, don't assume that because you're part of the business right now, and everybody's happy and jolly and everybody happy, that it's going to continue that way. And that's why I always encourage people, put in writing, say, oh, this child A is going to be responsible for this. This child B is going to be responsible for this. Awesome. So that there'll be no question, right? No question at the end of the day, right? Nothing's going to, because everything is in writing that, oh, this person is now going to be the CEO and things like that. No question. Beautiful way of putting things in writing, and you can let them know. But letting them know is one thing. Putting in writing is the best thing, right? Because even though you tell them, somebody might say, well, even though dad was alive and said this, I don't agree with it, and there's no legal backing. Same thing. You might be wondering, how is that possible? I thought everybody was together. Well, when things are not in writing, things change. People can misinterpret or forget. And I don't always say that, people intentionally do that, but anything can happen. So put it in writing and say, okay, child A will be responsible for this business, child B will be responsible for this area, and everybody will be happy at the end of the day. That's the second point. The third point is, what about if they're not interested? What about if they're telling you that, mom, no, this is not what I want to do. I'm not really interested in moving forward with this. I love that. Why do I love it? I'm not loving it because they're not going to be part of the business, but I love it because they have told you on time. They say, okay, this person is not going to be interested in the business. So they've already told you. So there's nothing to, second guess, oh, what's happening. No, they have told you that, you know what, I appreciate what you are doing, but this is not for me. Why am I saying that this is what I love when somebody is not interested? Some people say, I don't want to offend my dad or my mom, so that's why I'm not going to tell them. But the beauty of this thing is that if somebody tells their parent on time, they can say, okay, my kids are not interested. Let me think of selling the business. Let me think of selling the business while I'm able to do that, right? And so, very important. And I will say, have a talk with your kids. Have a talk with if this is not what they want to do, have a talk with them and say, this is what I'm thinking. This and you, if they say, you know what, this is not for me. I know you guys have built so much, but for now, I don't think I'm going to continue in that way. Fine. Then you think of, how do you sell your business eventually? You want to retire, well, enjoy your funds, right? you know, it's very important for you to speak to your accountant early enough, because there are so many provisions where you can sell your business and not even pay a dime in taxes. Of course, conditions apply, right? So many ways you can do that, right? Of course, we're talking about tax avoidance, not tax evasion. We're not doing anything here that is going to be against the law. But I'm just telling you that there are so many ways that you can actually sell your business and actually not pay taxes, right? It still depends on, of course, conditions, right? But the important thing, or the great thing of knowing on time, is that you can actually start preparing yourself, that because there's some structures or some conditions you have to meet to be able to sell your business and not really have to pay taxes. Right. So when you find out that, okay, the best option is to sell your business, then you start preparing, maybe 5 years, 3 years from now, 10 years, right? There's nothing wrong with, preparing, say, okay, within 10 years, I'm going to sell my practice or my business. Within 5 years, I'm going to give it to somebody, sell it to somebody else, right? But you're preparing because you already know that your kids said, you know what, this is not for me. And again, loving someone that speaks up and say, yes, we want our kids to continue with our business, but if our kids at the beginning tell you that this is not what I want to do, then you can prepare yourself. All right. These are just a few tips. So I hope I've been able to share something that will positively impact the estate planning of your business. Of course, please seek professional advice, to walk you through everything, because of course this is general information. All right. So I know I'm not going to see you again this week. Happy Thanksgiving, and see you next time.